Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good. I'm fabulous because we got some football today. Week 2, full slate of preseason contests. And I'm going to get you covered with the rankings. We're talking ends that are tight ends, top 20 rankings for the fantasy football season. I know your drafts are coming. I got wide receivers coming the following day, so get ready for that as well. But what do you guys say we talk a little tight ends, top 20? Because, there's some value to be had. So you guys know me, and typically I do not go early on my tight ends unless I take a Travis Kelce. Then fine. But outside of that, I usually wait on my tight end pass catchers because there is a lot of value to be had. And when we look at it statistically last season, from tight end 7 to tight end 15, the difference was only 11.8 points, man. From tight end 10 to tight end 20, the difference was only 28.7 points. So what are we doing in this respect? You can wait and stream your tight ends if you're passing on the top. I want to say 5 to even 6, but I got your top 5 for you, man. Travis Kelce, he is obviously the number one. He's the wide receiver that plays tight end. He would have finished as the wide receiver 5 last year, right ahead of A.J. Brown, grown-ass man. Travis Kelce is the truth. He's one of the best to ever do it at the tight end position. So when you're picking Kelce in the first round, I understand why you would do it because you're getting basically a wide receiver, top wide receiver 5 in your draft. So, it's pick your poison, I could almost say, and suggest wait on it, but I completely understand all y'all that love drafting Travis Kelce. He's my number one, man. TJ Hawkinson, Minnesota Vikings. And there's some good promise here in this offense this season. Like I said in other videos, this is likely the last kick at the can for this offense as we know it, man. No more Dalvin Cook. They added a Jordan Addison. They're going to be more pass happy in this offense. Kirk Cousins could be the final season in Vikings colors. Hawkinson was very good last year, saw 129 targets. That may get curtailed back just a little bit with the presence of an Addison. But that just means the efficiency rates could go up, man. So we're going to see 172 points last year was Hawkinson's record. He was 56.3 on the boom consistency, so he's still very consistent for tight ends. The tight end, Kelce 76.4 on the boom consistency, so he's a top dog. But everyone else, if you're hovering around above 50% in the tight end market, you're doing very well in fantasy football. Hawkinson's still at my number 2, even though I understand even dropping him down to number 3 and promoting somebody like a Darren Waller. I am going Darren Waller at number 3 simply because I do like the situation, okay? Yes, I understand the offseason hype, but the minute he got traded to these New York Giants, watching him in practice in the training camp only uplifted my thought process on what this Giants team could potentially be. Is there truly a wide receiver 1 that's going to see the bulk load of the targets, or are they going to do this by committee? Now you have a guy like Darren Waller who has been uncoverable in training camp thus far, looked good in that preseason game. Daniel Pennies is going to be looking in his direction a lot, and barring health, that's the only issue and caveat I would say why this is too high for a Darren Waller. He's got to stay healthy. If he can stay on this field, he's going to put up 1,000 yards. No question about that in this offense. I love Darren Waller at number 3. Taking a gamble, but I think this gamble is going to pay off. Number 4, Mark Andrews, Baltimore Ravens. A little bit of a dip down the board. I know a lot of people got him at number 2, and that's okay. The only reason why I got him at number 4 simply because there's a lot of mouths to feed. It's going to be, the MO for a lot of these teams. There's a lot of mouths to feed on a lot of these offenses. However, this is the final year that you can actually criticize Lamar Jackson of saying, he doesn't have reliable weapons. There's a lot of weapons here. OBJ, Zay Flowers, we got Bateman coming back, and now you got Mark Andrews. Still, Mark was very good last season, almost 850 yards and 5 touchdowns. He got you 154 fantasy points. Almost got to that 50% boom consistency rate, just under 46.7. But okay, the big positives for an Andrews is the fact that he's going to see less coverage come his way just because of the presence of Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr. So there is ample opportunity for higher efficiency rates where I think the target share may hover around where it was last year. 100 targets does not seem out of the question once again for a Mark Andrews, but we'll see how this offense does start to move forward with all the new weapons that they do have. Number 5, George Kittle. The only reason I got Kittle down here at number 5 is simply because of the injuries. He's already got injured in camp. He's likely going to be fine. But this man, the way he plays football, he's so tough-nosed. He's always looking for punishment. he's going to find his way into the medical room at some point during the regular season. That's the only reason why I got him here. But he is a dog. He is a baller, and he will always produce for you. 50% on the boom consistency for George Kittle. 53%. He always hits for you, 50% of the time, which is great for tight ends. So, I mean, with Brock Purdy and company, if Kittle can stay on the field and remain healthy, he should be, again, a top 5 tight end in fantasy football. Number 6, Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles. Would have been a career season last year if he did not lose those games to injury. He was looking damn good. He's ready to explode. I am a big fan and supporter of a Dallas Goedert. I think that his role in this offense will continue to increase. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and then it's Dallas Goedert. 1, 2, 3 punch. There is no out of the question that we could see Dallas Goedert get 850 yards in this offense with the potential of seeing 7 to 10 touchdowns. It's not out of the question, man. Jalen Hurts and his passing aptitude, they're just continuing to uplift, and they should go again in this direction for the 2023 season. Number 7, Kyle Pitts. I was hesitant. He's kind of in that enigma phase right now in this, draft ranking process simply because he's coming off the injury. Haven't seen him do a lot in training camp. He did come back to this preseason, made that nice one-handed grab behind him. But this Atlanta Falcons offense, we got to understand, Bijan Robinson is going to be the lead dog in the backfield. They're going to be run heavy, trying to support somebody like a Desmond Ridder. Can Desmond Ridder support all of these pieces in basically year one of him being a starting quarterback in the NFL? I really doubt that. I'm a Desmond Ridder fan, not, promoting him at this point. I got to see a lot more out of Desmond Ridder before I start singing the good graces. So that's kind of why I got a Kyle Pitts down here at number 7. Can Ridder support all of these weapons consistently? I just don't see it, man. And Pitts coming off the injury, he's on the field and he does look good, so it did confirm that for me to be comfortable enough to put him here at number 7. He could be a big steal or a big flop once again this year, man. Number 8, Evan Ingram, Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I think he's going to be fairly reliable. And I mean, based on his consistency, almost at 50%, he's going to give you that, 1 out of, 3 contests where he's going to do extremely well for you. And then on the other ones, he's going to be a good filler, anywhere from 7 to 9 points. That's decent for a tight end when we're talking half PPR leagues. I think in this offense, Evan Ingram did, establish enough good chemistry with a Trevor Lawrence that he's going to be viable every single, I don't want to say every single game, but majority of the contests, he will at least gain that PPR upside to uplift your statistical achievement. Evan Ingram, I'm a big fan. I think he's going to finish again as top 10. Pat Freiermuth, number 9, the Muth. Always been a big fan of the Muth. Outside of last season, this man did not drop a red zone target in his entire career going all the way back to high school. It's just going to continue, man. This past year, only 2 touchdowns. That was the outlier, which brought him back down to earth and not be lifted this, stat train and finishing the season in the top, 8 of these tight ends. But Pat Freiermuth is still one of these guys. He's going to be an absolute baller safety blanket for a Kenny Pickett. You got George Pickett's taking the next level in his game as well. Only going to open up ample opportunity for Pat Freiermuth. He will be spectacular in matchup play, and then hopefully he's going to give you at least, maybe above the 10-game threshold in boom games. Let's see how that does go, but I got a sneaky suspicion we're going to see a lot more touchdowns come from Pat Freiermuth this year because that's his MO, and he loves to score touchdowns. Number 10, my top 10, Dalton Schultz. Houston Texans, a lot of people fading Dalton Schultz. I don't know why, just because he's going over to the Houston Texans with a rookie quarterback. Fine, I get it, I understand. But you're talking the statistics that he requires to continue to be a top 10 tight end. He can absolutely gain this here with C.J. Stroud in this Houston Texans offense. He's going to be the safety blanket. Rookie quarterbacks desire those safety blankets. Chain movers, anybody getting open when he's under pressure. Dalton Schultz can absolutely be that for a young C.J. Stroud and perform admirably for your team. Okay, last season we got into the mold where we were, struggling with a Schultz where it'd be 4 receptions, 32 yards, 1 touchdown, and we would sweat it out the entire game waiting for him to score that touchdown. It could be something similar this year for Dalton Schultz also, but I do see that PPR upside coming from a CJ Stroud. That, like I said, that safety blanket, very important for a young quarterback. Number 11, Cole Kmet for the Chicago Bears. I see a lot of people fading this man as well just because DJ Moore came to town. Man, I don't know what y'all thinking because this pass game is going to be that much better, with a Justin Fields this year. He's saying he's going 4,000. I believe the man. Outside of injury, Justin Fields is set up to do very well. They paid Cole Kmet a boatload of money, and you're thinking that they're not going to utilize this man? I think they got some weapons way that they're going to use them in this offense, and Justin Fields should find him on the regular. 7 touchdowns last year. We could see very similar numbers in that respect with better yardage coming his way. Number 12 might shock some of y'all. Dalton Kincaid, my boy, Bills Mafia. And everyone's going to criticize me and say, yeah, that's a Bills homer move. But here, if I was to sit here and tell you, what if I told you that Dalton Kincaid got 50 receptions for 580 yards and 5 touchdowns? Would you call me a liar? Would you say that's too high? Or would you say that was reasonable? Because if you say that's reasonable, that's exactly what Dalton Schultz got last year, and he is the tight end 10. It doesn't take a lot to become the tight end 10. You fall into the end zone 4 times, and you're almost at that threshold of becoming a tight end, top 10, tight end. So for me, Dalton Kincaid in this Bills offense with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, they're going to be extremely balanced, much more than we have seen in the past. I do believe it. And Dalton Kincaid, the man just doesn't drop footballs. His hands are like glue. Percentage-wise, he just does not drop the ball. He looks damn good. Like I said, reminiscent of body style, running ability, catching ability, like a Travis Kelce. I'm not going to comp them as the same player, but it's very similar-esque. I think Kincaid is going to have a great rookie season here with the Buffalo Bills. Number 13, Tyler Higbee. Okay, 108 targets last year, 72 receptions. Y'all getting way ahead of yourselves that are upping him up the board because you know what? Cooper Kupp was injured. They dealt with a multitude of injuries on this team, and then he just was the benefactor of all that and saw his target share increase to career-high levels of 108. So I don't see that coming back to the fold for these LA Rams. I am a little bit skittish on what these Rams could be this season, a little bit off the bandwagon. Could they have good games? Sure. Are they going to be a great team? I really don't see it. So for me, Higbee's this matchup player that you're going to get, but still good enough to rank at number 13. Number 14, David Njoku, Cleveland Browns. He's one of these guys as well. I've expected so much more. It was almost like how we spoke about in Evan Ingram since his rookie season with the New York Giants. When are we going to see this ultimate breakout? I mean, last year he did fairly well, 58 for 628, 4 touchdowns, still got you 113 points. So it's definitely viable to have him on your roster, especially with a Deshaun Watson and the roster that they do possess with an Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. There will be ample opportunity. Again, you're seeing a lot of teams copycatting this a lot, where you have a very athletic tight end that can catch passes and make yak yards with a good wide receiver core. There's going to be very difficult coverage sets that these guys will be able to get open, these tight ends, because the wide receivers are going to draw so much coverage. David Njoku should, again, have a very decent season. Is he going to be over and beyond? I still don't think so. I think we've seen kind of almost the ceiling of what we're going to see from a David Njoku. Number 15, Gerald Everett, Los Angeles Chargers. I could, admittedly, I could drop him down a little bit further, but I think, again, there's going to be some ample opportunity. 87 targets might seem a little high from last year. We could see that pulled back with the addition of a Quentin Johnston, but injuries are always key on this wide receiver room for these Chargers. Keenan goes down. Mike Williams is injured every single season. Somebody's got to take those targets away, so Gerald Everett still could be a decent bye-week filler and matchup play. Even if you wait on your streaming tight ends, he could definitely be one of those streamers that we're looking for. Juwan Johnson, number 16, New Orleans Saints. He's a sneaky sleeper for me. I think that this guy could have a very good season. Derek Carr is no stranger in finding his tight ends on the regular, and Johnson could have a very good season. 65 targets last year. We could see an influx in that as well, especially with the fact Derek Carr loves to throw the football, and you got Michael Thomas, Chris Olave going to be stretching that field and playing slap boy with Michael Thomas. I think Johnson is going to be an absolute baller, especially in the red zone. Inside the 20 is going to be home. He could actually uplift his season where he got 7 TDs last year. We could see him repeat that and go to number 8 or 9. I'm not out of the question on this one at all, man. Number 17, Okonkwo from these Tennessee Titans. I'm lower than most, man, and I understand why all y'all are excited. He's an athletic specimen. He's going to be a beast. But now with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, I have to pull him back just a little bit. Ryan Tannehill cannot support a lot of targets in this offense, especially with it being run heavy behind a Derrick Henry. Okonkwo will have his games, but I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw last year. 46 targets last year. We're going to see maybe an influx to maybe 60 targets potentially. But with the addition of D-Hop, they're going to force feed Hopkins on the regular. Okonkwo for me is, sneaky matchup play at best. I'm not really trusting it whatsoever. 31.3% on the consistency. So he had his games, but I mean, he did turn a corner. He did look good. But I just think usage is going to be far too sparing for us to trust on a weekly basis. Number 18, Greg Dulcich from the Denver Broncos. Let's ride. He's one of the better ones, 50% on the consistency rate, but I don't like it in this offense. They do not look good until Sean Payton shows me that they're ironing out all these things, man. Greg Dulcich for me is going to be that rotational tight end, the streaming tight end that I'm looking for on good matchups to play this season. Dulcich is a talented tight end, but he went to sleep, and then I think he even dealt with some injuries this past year. So if he is healthy, great. We'll see the usage from a Russell Wilson. But I'm just not overly favorable this year. I want to see it to believe it before I promote his services this season. Hayden Hurst, number 19, Carolina Panthers. Okay, I could have had somebody like an Irv Smith, but now you're kind of throwing darts at the board at this point. I still like myself a little Hurst, similarly to the evaluation of a Dalton Schultz. Hurst on the lower end degree, he should be something of a safety blanket for rookie passer Bryce Young. I mean, Adam Thielen and Hayden Hurst could be those quote-unquote safety blankets that Bryce Young is looking for on the regular, and Hurst could actually be a decent viable option, especially in the fact if these Carolina Panthers are playing from behind a lot. That offensive line does not look good. That defense is going to have to pitch shutouts for this team to be, involved in every single matchup. Hurst is a decent quarterback, definitely waiver wire potential, but he does have potential opportunity and upside in this offense. Last one on number 20, Sam Laporta, rookie, Detroit Lions. I love this kid, man. I think he's absolutely special as well. Just like similarly to a Dalton Kincaid, I think Laporta is a touch lower than Kincaid, obviously, when it comes to skill set, but they have very like traits where, Laporta can line up anywhere on the field. He is a target machine that will, take in passes and catch footballs. I like his game a lot. Good yak ability. He's very strong. What lacks in his game is the blocking upside, so they're going to utilize him in this pass game. Big body mismatch. What is he, 6'3", 6'4"? He's going to be that big body mismatch that these Lions needed, and Jared Goff will be able to support it. I think Sam Laporta is being slept on and likely going to be a waiver priority pickup by the time we get to around week number 3 or 4. He could blow up extremely fast because a lot of these defenses really won't know what they're getting to see with a Sam Laporta, because he could be a game changer for this Detroit Lions offense. No kidding about that. So there you have it. That is my top 20 ends that are tight ends. We got to do this. I mean, okay, tight ends are very difficult to trust outside, like I said, of the top 6. It's a dart throw every single week. You got to play the matchups. That's why if I'm not getting a Travis Kelce, I'm likely to stream my tight ends and wait. I'm not going to, pitch early for these guys. I get a lot of people playing tight end premium leagues where they do feel that extra point, half point in PPR upside will give them the edge. Even then, when you break down the statistics, it's not that big of a deal for you to grab one early, but I completely understand. Top 5 tight ends, outside of that, I'm streaming if I'm not getting them, so I hope you guys do the same. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What do y'all think of these ranks? You got some guys higher, lower? Drop them in the comments. We can definitely talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.